The Bushcrafty Talks.
What's up? Bushcrafty here. Bushcrafty Talks. Oh boy. It's kind of good to get out. I haven't been out for a few days. But it is time. And I just went down the road I haven't went down for a long time. I get people saying, oh, everybody's going to find out where you live and stuff like that. Well, I kind of think of that ahead of time, and I go off to a certain area of town in random spots, and then I start recording. Some of the places may be the same, like I'm just coming across the street that I am. I have recorded on before. Some may notice the building's the same and everything, but they're nowhere near where I live. So I'm safe. Oh, okay. Well, there's been some strange happenings with... I was up on 101s last night, and there was conversations that went on, and I kind of explained something that happened to me last month. And most of you guys who follow me remembers the significance of 21 with me, that is. Well, we were doing, this was all backstage. I was telling him more information, some stuff I can't really tell the public that is involved with the 21. And you may hear some raining and the windshield wipers. I'm sorry. It's what it is. But anyway, we started doing some digging, and I told him that I went to the church, which is right there. It's kind of odd that it's kind of odd that we're going straight by there. I saw her, something caught my eye and made me think. Anyways, we started doing, well, 101 does what he does. And he said, well, what's the address of this church? So I looked it up and gave him the address to the church. Well, we're finding out his 17 and my 21 went hand in hand through everything. The dimensions of the buildings to the square footage, the lot number, the tax number, 777. That's 21. It goes on and on. So I thought, well, let me see if I can find the priest that I had talked to and started all this. So I went through the history of the church and there was no pictures. So I came across one, didn't realize it at the time, but I found the guy who I talked to. Now this part's going to blow your mind, and there's going to be people that's, oh, you're full of crap, you're making stuff up, and yeah, but the guy I seen, I didn't pay attention to, a lot of the stats, so I went and searched Google Images for this guy, put his name in there and everything. Bam, it pops up. Oh, that's him. I said, he looked a bit older, but it was him. Well, I found the stat page to him, and he had already died. He had been dead for years. which really freaked me out. I mean, it would freak anybody out. What is weird, if you add up the day he was born, it added up to 17. And if you added up the day he died, it was 21. Yeah. And that's not even the half of it. Every time we would come up with a date in his obituary, explaining his life and this and that, every time it was either 17 or 21. And the more we dug, the more stuff we gathered. We were looking through papers that weren't even around in the 1900s, and we were finding stuff. There's no way this could have ever been made up or just on a whim. Oh, I picked this guy. There's no way. It's just he had like 14 kids. One of them was Daniel. Now, when he tells me that he had, when I talked to him, he told me that his son Daniel had trouble, and this and that he had trouble with drugs and alcohol. Well, because that really hit me when he was talking about this, and then he said he had finally got clean, and then he had died on October 21st. That was his thing. And at that time he told me it was 10 years. But when I went back and looked, his son died 10 years before he did. I know it gets really way out there, let me tell you. But there's people in chat that were saying that I was visited by an angel, and I still have trouble wrapping that around my brain. That why me? And believe it or not, there's something that happened. Well, there's hardly anybody here. Last night, and like I said, me and 101 were up till past 2 o'clock in the morning last night, going through this. And we actually had to stop because we would have been up all night. We would have probably still been sitting there. The thing is, it's hard for me to, I mean, there's nothing special about me. I don't have ties to, governments, or I can't, whispers in people's ears or anything like that. It's just, to me, it makes no sense. I mean, and one thing, when I woke up this morning about 5:30, 6 o'clock, right before I woke up, I was dreaming about my grandpa. And one of the things we were talking about, sorry, the camera's going to go off right there. He was talking about going to church, and he says that the church in his area, they had different beliefs than he did, and his thing was, you had to go to church. You had to go in Sunday and go to church. And his thing was that it's not the church that's important. It's the word that you learn about, and that you get to know about, and stuff like that, about the Bible and whatnot. And he says that the church would not so much shun people, but they would turn their nose up people that didn't go to church every day. I mean, they had to go into church and sit there, and the whole spiel. And that didn't sit well with my grandpa. He wasn't very religious, but he was really religious, if you know what I mean. It's kind of hard to explain. But his thought in this, he says, Jesus, when he was doing his teachings and things like that, he said, and I don't remember where this was in the Bible or anything. It was a story that he told me. He didn't tell me like where it was or anything. He said he had all of his students and disciples that would follow him around, and he would tell them to stay where they're at, and he would take off by himself, and he would go off and find somebody that needed him, that society or the churches shunned away, or they weren't up to standards of church life or whatever. And he would find these people and tell them that they are wanted. They are God's children, and he would find these people, and that's where he would tell people would say, "Why me? Why do you come to me?" And he said, "I have my students. They're and he referred to it as a flock. He said, I have my flock on the hill. I will always leave my flock to go save that one stray." And that's what I remember this morning when I woke up, is that dream, remembering what he told me. And I had completely forgot about it. And I thought it was, the more I thought about it, it seems to, it hits, when you think that you don't deserve something or whatnot, and you don't deserve things in life or whatever, you think you're less than anybody else, he's always there. He'll be there. His flock is fine all together over there. He will go and find you and help you in what you need. So I don't know if that's means anything to anybody, but that's what I got out of my dream. And it was a memory of my grandpa explaining this to me. Whenever you sit there, and it's coming down, raining like crazy now. Whenever you wonder, why me? You're just as important than anybody else. If I was you know, a president of a country or a king or whatever. If God wanted to give me a message, or an angel wanted to give me a message, they don't look at my standing in the world or anything like that. It's me. So I will continue to pray and make sure that if there is a message, or if that was the message I wanted to get out to people, that's what I'm going to do. I'm sure I'm going to take a lot of flack over this, coming out with this, but it is what it is. Like always, never give up. And that's really weird that is my slogan that I started way before any of this happened. Oh, never give up. God bless.